Hello and welcome to vChat episode 40. It's been a while since our last one, but we've managed to the planets have aligned, and yeah, here we are, both myself and David. So my name's Simon Seagrave from techhead.co.
Hey, and I'm David Davis from Actual Tech Media and VMwareVideos.com.
Hey, how you doing, David? It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been too long, Simon. It's great to see you again. We came up with some exciting topics to talk about, for this show. It's been a while, so we have a lot to talk about, like you said.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I know, we've both been doing some cool stuff, some cool shows lately. So, the first thing I want to mention before we get too far into it is that Eric Siebert's live vblog voting is now open. So, make sure you go vote and
Definitely.
select your favorite, virtualization bloggers out there in the ecosystem. I know that's a pretty cool thing he's got going every year. So we want to make sure we support him in that. So, moving on, let's talk about what you've been up to, Simon. I know I've been seeing you tweet a lot about your role at EMC and some of the really cool demos, that you created for EMCworld. Tell us about it. What kind of cool demos did you create? What was it like to be at EMCworld?
Yeah, it was good. I mean, I was very lucky to, have justification to go along again. It's always a good show. I mean, it's got the same sort of atmosphere and feel as VMworld. So, no, I really enjoy it. I mean, it's normally a very hectic time for me, actually. I can't remember the last EMC World that was, how should we put it, relaxing, where I could actually sort of spend time to go to sessions, catch up with people, etc. It's always a bit manic when I'm there, but it's cool. It adds to the atmosphere and the excitement of it all. So yeah, this year, as with last year, I was responsible for pulling together the keynote demos. So these are the demos on the 3 days of keynotes, where we have the business unit leaders, the executives go up and they demonstrate sort of the latest and greatest products from EMC. So yeah, definitely high profile role, but it's definitely very much a death or glory type position. If it goes well, hey, brilliant, you're the best thing out. If it doesn't, obviously, yeah, you're not as popular. But I'm pleased to report that this year the demo gods, thank you, were smiling. It all went smoothly, and it was probably one of our most ambitious years actually with what we're doing. So 3 days of keynotes. The first one wasn't particularly heavy on demos. There was just one demo for that day. Day two was interesting. Because Greg Gotts and team they did this thing with motion capture, which is a really new technology which enabled Chad and one of the BU leaders there to stand in these little sort of they're sort of like a three-dimensional sort of white tents, as it were, and so they were projected inside a piece of hardware. In this case, it was the Unity device that was announced at the show, and that was pretty cool. And they were standing on different places on the stage, and basically they did a sort of a virtual reality type tour through the actual hardware. I mean, they were this tall, they were pretty small, shrunk down in size and put inside the hardware. So that was really cool. That day we had quite a few product demos as well, and like I say, they went well. Day three, that was the James Bond type theme. That was a lot of fun indeed. With Jeremy and Chad and those guys. So yeah, that was really cool, and yeah, it went smoothly. But no, it was good. I mean, it had a really good buzz, really good atmosphere. I mean, that's the first show I've been to this year. Definitely my role these days, I'm definitely not attending as many events or shows as I have done in the past, which is no bad thing from a sort of travel perspective. But it was nice to go to a show. It was based in Vegas. At the Palazzo there, just down the road, obviously down the other end of the strip from where VMworld is this year. So that's going to be pretty cool. So I believe it's just for 1 year. I think VMworld is going to Vegas, then it's back to San Fran, back to the Moscone again, whilst they do renovations this year, or rather extend the conference facility there in San Fran. So yeah, it was really good. It was good. It was a successful trip, and some great announcements. Obviously, there's a buzz around the merger we're going through with Dell at the moment. We had Michael Dell there on day one. So that was really cool as well. And it's just brilliant. It had a good atmosphere actually, and a lot of the people say, "Are we going to say that?" But out of all the EMC worlds, it was my favorite one because I think the implications of what was announced, etc. Not only for a company but a sort of industry perspective, were the most sort of compelling and the most interesting. So, I just think we're at such an interesting stage in the industry at the moment. We're obviously clouds well and truly there, but you've got all these different variations of sort of public hybrid, hyperconvergence, all this type of thing. It's really exciting. So from a geek's point of view, I mean, there's some really cool stuff out there, and with applications also obviously coming to the forefront as well. Exciting stuff there.
Very cool. I mean, you caught my attention right there when you said the James Bond demo. Is that posted like out on YouTube? Can I see something like that? The keynote, maybe? Um,
Yeah, yeah, I think it probably is. I'd be surprised if it isn't. It'll probably be on some EMC channel there, YouTube channel. So
okay.
yeah, I'll have a look. If we've got it, we'll put it in the show notes.
Did you get to meet Michael Dell?
Very, very briefly, very briefly. Yeah, yeah, he's a super nice guy though. He's yeah, some executives you can meet. I don't know. I instantly sort of warm to him. He seems quite a nice sort of, don't know, just a normal sort of guy. That's like I say, it was very brief. But I wasn't. I didn't feel nervous by him. Like some of these big names. It can be quite sort of nerve-wracking or nervous to meet them for the first time.
Right.
But no, he was very much. He just seemed like a really nice guy. Obviously a fellow techie. Yeah, but no, it was good. First impressions, yeah, really good. Yeah, seemed like a super guy.
Very cool. I mean, at least he comes from a technology background. He started building computers in his garage or whatever in Austin, Texas. I mean, I think it's a great,
Yeah,
cool
yeah,
story.
yeah. He's definitely come up through the same sort of routes that a lot of us have done. So it's
Yeah.
obviously like-minded. So
Yeah, so I've never been to EMC World, so it's cool to hear about, what it's like, and it's got to be super stressful to create those demos, at least in my opinion. The famous like Bill Gates like blue screen of death,
oh God, yes,
during
yes,
during
yes.
the demo. So are some of your demos also post? I'm sure they're out there on EMC channels as well. Some of the stuff that you created for the keynotes.
Yeah, I've actually changed the way I've done demos these days because how I used to do it was, we'd just create demos literally for the keynotes and that would be it. They get mothballed after that. What I like to do with the demos now is actually create something, a sort of a piece of collateral that can be used after the event as well. That, people seeing it obviously sparks interest. And so it'd be nice if they can get hands-on time with it. So the demos I create now, yeah, I can sort of create them in such a way that they are accessible afterwards. We sort of, we have the versions we have for the show that we show. It depends, but in case it gets live systems, but quite often I'll do sort of like a canned version of it as well that people can access after the event. So yeah, if anyone's interested in that, please let me know. I mean, I've made a couple of them available internally at the moment, but there's no reason we can make them available externally as well. I know that some of these I've been given the thumbs up that anyone out there can access them if they want, and they are up there on a public website. So if anyone wants to know what that URL is, just let me know and I'll pass it on.
Cool. Yeah, we'll try to put that in the show notes so everybody can see it. I mean, you must spend days and weeks creating those demos, so it's great to get some further exposure for them
Yeah.
after just the show. So
Yeah, it's kind of nice because it just gives people opportunity. I mean, you know how it is, right? I mean, you can run your own labs, you can spin up your own instances in the cloud of things, whether it's VMware, EMC, it doesn't matter what it is. It's quite often some of the the hands-on time you want to get with products isn't always available because either the licenses are too much, they don't do eval versions. So quite often it's kind of nice if you can just jump in there, have access to an environment that otherwise you wouldn't be able to normally spin up or have access to, and just get in there and get your hands dirty and just have a play around with it.
yeah, I mean that's what I've enjoyed really with like the VMware the hands-on labs, is
Oh
because
yeah.
some of the products, today are just so complex and time-consuming to set up. Things like VIO, VMware, integrated OpenStack, vRealize operations, vSAN, just to get them up and running. If you just want to check out something real quick or see how it works, can take so much effort and time. So being able to jump in and within a few minutes have access to something that's already
Yeah.
built is really cool.
Yeah, I know there's one of our solutions. I was talking to the yeah, VMware are phenomenal. I mean, they've paved the way for the industry, right? And in their hands-on labs, we have a version as well, and Alan McGrath and his team do a phenomenal job on that each year. I know a couple of their labs there. I was talking to Alan, and he was saying that one of them there was taking something like 256 gigs of memory for one lab instance.
Wow, that's incredible.
It's one of the bigger, it's not just a single product. I mean, this is a overall solution where you can jump in there and do multiple things. But if you think about that, I mean, on the back end, obviously, it's all all Cisco UCS blades on that. But pretty much that's one blade fully loaded per lab instance. So you try spinning that up in your home lab, it's never going to work
Yeah.
unless you've got very deep pockets. So yeah, that's why these labs are very cool.
Yeah, yeah. I was at OpenStack Summit a few weeks ago, and I learned. Speaking of Cisco, and speaking of online labs, I learned about Cisco's Viral, which I don't know exactly what it stands for, but it's their own home. It's their version of VMware Hands-On Labs. So you can access a massive Cisco infrastructure and just build it, on your own, dynamically, virtually. And what I heard was it runs in OpenStack.
Oh
So
wow, very
yeah,
cool.
yeah. So yeah,
That's pretty cool. Is that publicly available? Do you know?
yeah, yeah. You can go just Google like Cisco Viral, VIRL,
Mm.
and I think there might be a small fee to use it, but it's not much compared to what you can get. So yeah, that's a great way for people doing Cisco certifications, to get what they need, access to what they need, just like VMware Hands-On Labs, is great for people doing
Yeah.
VMware certifications. Um,
I tell you what, I could have done that with that back in the day. I mean, do you remember? I mean, I was looking at doing my CCNA, I don't know, probably about a decade ago now. But how you had to do it back then is literally jump on eBay and pick up this really old kit that enabled you to sort of SSH into these things to do your studying and what have you. So you're always sort of scanning eBay because someone would get their CCNA, then they'd sell the stuff, and the
right.
next person would buy it on eBay. So I sort of went around the houses. But the fact that you can do a lot of this now, whether it be VMware, Cisco, EMC, it doesn't matter. If you're doing your certifications, this sort of stuff is definitely invaluable.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. So, speaking of conferences, I at OpenStack Summit, I mean, it was in Austin, Texas. It was very cool. There was lots of VMware, folks, VMware friends there from I shouldn't say VMworld friends there from past conferences that I've known for years. So it was great to see people. Stu was there doing the Cube with Brian Gracely. Scott
Yes.
Eslow was there.
So
I saw him
was
at
that was Crystal there doing the spouse activities as well?
Crystal was doing Spoustivities.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Scott Eslow, he was at the VMware booth, educating people on OpenStack. And so I just stood there listening to like the common questions that people would walk up and ask him. And it was really kind of eye-opening to me because I'm very new to OpenStack. That was my first like learning opportunity. I think before that, I knew that OpenStack is an open source cloud management platform. That's like that was my
Yes.
knowledge of OpenStack. So people would walk up and say, "Hey, I'm interested in replacing vSphere with OpenStack," and he was like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, hold on. OpenStack doesn't have a hypervisor. You might be interested in replacing Open vSphere with KVM and then adding OpenStack on top, but you
Mhm.
still need a hypervisor." So and they're like, "Oh, really? I didn't know that." So there was just so much education, going on. And I went to Eric Wright's Couch to OpenStack session,
Oh yeah.
which was
Yep.
packed out, like over 100 people, standing room only. And so it was obvious there's so many people there just still trying to figure out, hey, I don't know anything about OpenStack. I want to get started. Um,
That's pretty cool. And I heard that the V Brown Bag guys were there as well.
Yeah, yeah. Cody, Alistair, and the whole crew were there. They were recording like little short, like 10-minute demos. I think they recorded something like 50 or more videos in a few
Wow.
days. And I
That's
went, yeah, and I sat down in one of them, which was about containers. It had a funny title, but it was like getting started with containers. And actually, I didn't realize that it was just a 10-minute session. I thought it was like a full 45-minute, session. So he got started. This guy was great, very educational, and then after 10 minutes, it was over, and I was like, but I want to learn more. I want to know more about containers. So OpenStack and containers, obviously very hot, topics, and that was standing room only too. These people that came to learn about containers for just 10 minutes. So people are hungry, I think, for knowledge. And I mean,
Yes.
the ecosystem is just so different, from VMworld 2. To me, OpenStack it's all open source. The contributors work for different companies. Sometimes, companies like VMware or Rackspace, or all these different software or hardware companies. But so many of them just work for regular old enterprises, and in their spare time at night, they're coding, making OpenStack better and better. And if you go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say, yeah, it's got this feeling. I'm with you. I'm a complete OpenStack noob. I know, I know enough to be dangerous, but I don't know really that much. I need to learn more. It's on my to-do list. Things to learn for 2016. It's on that list. Definitely there. So I'm going to be checking out those videos by the V Brown Bag guys. But yeah, I've got a real hunger there to learn as well, because the feeling I get with the community, it's probably got the very similar feel to how the VMware community was perhaps back in 2008, 2009. Definitely VMware wasn't in its infancy there, but at that point, that's where it was starting to get a little bit more sort of mainstream. At least in my experience with it as well. And that's where a lot of people were doing a lot of their labs in the evening type of thing. That's where a lot of the blog posts and bloggers, including myself, that's where we really sort of cut our teeth in those early days there. And to me, OpenStack and the other communities out there as well, the other open source communities sort of based around this, whether it's application or infrastructure, it's got that sort of similar sort of exciting sort of buzz feel to it. And I'm not saying VMware or VMworld doesn't have that anymore, because it definitely does. It definitely does, but it's just a little bit different. It just feels a little bit more, OpenStack still in that sort of grassroots sort of stage, perhaps a little bit more.
Yeah. Everybody there is very adamant about contributing. The develop, like half the sessions at OpenStack Summit are coders sitting around talking about making OpenStack better and how they're going to design the code and stuff like that. And for the vendors who are there, if a vendor's talking, people want to know, how are you contributing? What are you contributing to OpenStack? Don't just come here and sell us a product. What code are you contributing to make OpenStack better, kind of thing. So yeah, it's very interesting. They expect everyone to have some kind of kind of blood in the game or in the pool,
Yep.
to make things better. So yeah, you're right, and it is kind of still a grassroots sort of feel. But I guess everyone was saying, this is my first OpenStack Summit, but this is the first OpenStack Summit where OpenStack has gone mainstream or enterprise or ready for ready for production, or however you want to put it, because there were some amazing stats there about AT&T using OpenStack, and the Rackspace cloud is powered by OpenStack, and just all these. Like, hey, it's not just a science project anymore, kind of,
Yes.
Messaging. So yeah, it was cool. It was fun.
Yeah, it's definitely got a lot of credibility out there now. It's definitely, yeah, coming into its own. It's matured, isn't it? Like you say, then there's some definitely large and very well respected companies out there running sort of pretty hefty infrastructures, very large infrastructures on it. So yeah, it's an interesting space, definitely.
Yeah. And one more point before we move on, and that is, just like VMworld was when all the third-party tools had to adapt to virtualization. Hey, what are you going to do for now? We need disaster recovery for VMware. Now we need backup for VMware. Now we need management tools for VMware. OpenStack is in the same position where companies are like, we've modified our backup solutions to be OpenStack compatible, and management is now OpenStack compatible, and so they're trying to elevate things to a higher level. So
Yeah.
it's an interesting time.
Yeah, it's definitely pretty exciting. I mean, from a techies perspective, it's just another interesting area out there to explore. And like I say, there's more hours in the day. Well, sorry, there's not enough hours in the day rather to learn all of this. This is a shame actually, but yeah, it's definitely on my to-do list. That's for sure. Hey, but David, tell us. I mean, we spoke about what I've been up to. What have you been up to in the last, well, gosh, what, 6 months, year, whenever it was that we last caught up?
Yeah, so my company with Scott Scott Delo, James Green, and Jordy Carswell, Actual Tech Media. We've been doing these Megacast events, which have been, just crazy popular on hyperconvergence. We've got one coming up on software-defined data center and cloud, and VMware is going to be on these events along with other, great sponsors, educating people on the future software-defined data center or cloud solutions. So that's been keeping me real busy. I finally wrapped up my vSphere 6 Foundations course series on pluralsight.com, which is 8 courses. It took me a long time to do. Yeah, but it covers every bullet point on the blueprint for the vSphere 6 Foundations exam, which was not easy to do, but it does that. So it's some crazy like 17 hours of training if you watch all the courses. So that's been fun. I'm excited to have that completed and have that behind me. And
fantastic. So are you going to be doing any more? Obviously, you've got your own venture that you're doing with Megacasts now, and the rest of the team. Going forward, are you going to be doing any more courses with Pluralsight?
Yeah, I'm trying to do one, every month or every other month, something like that. They're a lot shorter than they were, in the past. So cranking out a 2-hour course or something like that isn't too difficult to do, which is great, I think, for the audience, not only for me but also for the audience. Because you can watch in two lunch breaks. You could watch a course. So yeah, the next one I'm doing is I'm refreshing my Introduction to Virtualization course, which has been crazy popular, but now it's like 3 or 4 years old. So a lot of things have changed. So it's incredible how many. I think you and I, we get kind of caught in that technology bubble where we think just everybody knows the same technology we do. I told someone yesterday, make sure you put everything in Dropbox, and they said, "What is Dropbox?" I'm like, "Oh." I thought, not that they were a techie person like us, but just a regular, family member. I'm like, don't forget to use Dropbox. And they're like, what is Dropbox? I'm like, oh, wow. I am in kind of a bubble. So yeah, there's a massive number of people out there who still don't know what virtualization is. They're developers, they're graduating from college, or whatever it might be. So it's an example of just how many people there still are out there who are at the top of the funnel, or however you want to put it, or at the bottom of the pyramid, going up, getting started with technology.
Yeah, and definitely, 3 to 4 years, I can imagine, definitely needs to refresh the rate at which this industry and this particular space around virtualization, cloud computing sort of has moved. Yeah, I can imagine, you'd almost need to refresh it almost every 6 months just to try and keep up with things. So yeah, that'd be definitely a welcome update.
Yeah, so what about, I see you tweeting a lot about HomeLab. We enjoy talking about HomeLab. We've talked about it a lot on the vChat. So I guess just to share what I did in my vSphere 6 Foundations course, I did the whole thing in VMware Fusion on an iMac with 32 gigs and a 1 terabyte PCI SSD, built in.
Wow, how did that work out?
It worked pretty well. I mean, I was able to demonstrate everything I needed in the whole course. Like VMware fault tolerance, I think, was the biggest challenge to demonstrate that. And to do that, I used a tiny Linux VM, which was only like 512, K or twice. Yeah, it might have been 512K actually, of RAM, which made it able to migrate live. But other than that, it worked great. So what have you been up to for HomeLab?
Yeah, so nothing is the answer. So my lab's been turned off probably for about a year and a half now, year and a half. Had a lot of things going on, on the home space plus work. I just haven't had time to do it. But yeah, I'm at the point now where I want to bring it back online again. I've got to upskill myself in a couple of areas. There's a few technology areas such as the OpenStack, open source side of things. Being one of them. So, that's a good reason to, have access to a lab. So I've been through the thought process of what I do, whether I go 100% out to the cloud, whether I run nested, instances on a large white box, or whether I stick with my sort of more individually compartmentalized home lab servers. So I've still got my HP microservers, which is good. They're getting a little bit long in the tooth now. And I'm finding with the resource requirements for for the VMs I want to run, that type of thing, I'm not getting too many VMs per physical box. So I went out there. I had a look at white boxes. Like I say, I mean, obviously there's a price tag associated with that, even when you go white box. Because I kind of want something where I'm gonna, if it was going to be a single white box running nested instances, ideally you want, in a perfect world, 64 gigs, and then you need system boards that will take 64 gigs with enough slots. Because obviously, 16 gig DIMMs, you can get them, but they still come with a price tag. But long story short, I went back out, had a look. And like I say, for full transparency, obviously we're going through this Dell EMC merger thing at the moment, which is very exciting from my perspective, because it just means more tech, more portfolio, interesting tech to be exposed to, which is really cool, and hopefully play with. So, I looked around again, looked at the options, and yeah, there's a company here in the UK called Servers Plus, and they were doing a special on a Dell T20. So the T20 is like an entry-level server, bigger than an HP microserver. I mean, the microserver is a lovely form factor, but unfortunately, you can only get 16 gigs in there. You've only got two slots available to you. So you can only get 16, which was, or for me, always a bit of a bottleneck. The CPUs went always the gruntiest, but I'm running light workloads, so that was less of an issue. It was more around sort of the 16 gig cap there. It meant that I could probably run 5 VMs, maybe 6 if I was lucky, very small ones. But anyway, this the T20, they're doing a £70 cashback deal over here. To buy it was 156 pounds. So it worked out, it cost me around about sort of 80 quid for one of these boxes. Didn't come with a hard disk, but that doesn't matter because, I mean, all of us, right? We've got tons of SATA disks kicking around to some capacity, as long as it's big enough to get vSphere or ESXi on there, that's big enough. So, yeah, turned up this morning. I've had a quick look at it. I did a quick vlog on it this morning that I'll be posting soon, just the unboxing of it, first impressions, etc. But interesting form factor. I thought it'd be the size of a mini tower. But it isn't. It's actually somewhere between a mini tower form factor and the microserver. So it's actually quite a dinky little size. But yeah, you can get 32 gigs in there. I bought the Celeron one, which is fine. It's only dual core. The only thing I didn't get with that processor, I think it's the 3320. You don't get VTD on there, but that's fine. I don't want to do any sort of hardware pass-through or anything on it. But yeah, it's got everything else that I need. I just need to up the memory, but luckily enough, what I'm going to do is pillage all the memory I had in my in my microservers there to throw into the the slots of the T20, and yeah, I should be good to go. So I'm going to give that a go. And the other reason, obviously, with the Dell thing happening, I'm keen to try out a bit of Dell hardware as well. So it just seemed like a very good time, very good price. I mean, you couldn't even build a white box for that amount, and yeah, that's me. I mean, I haven't, like I say, turned up today, so I've got to take all the memory out of the microservers, put it into this, and give it a try. I mean, in theory, vSphere should see all the hardware, so that's yet to be tested. From what I gather on the forums, it's not a problem. But yeah, that's fun. I want to spin up my own little lab here. I want to start having a little bit of fun with it. Yeah, my son, he's only quite young, but yeah, he saw me playing Minecraft. I stumbled across Minecraft. There's a demo on the Xbox that I was playing, and he said, "Oh, that's nice." So it's like Lego,
Yeah.
Lego, but on the Xbox type of thing. And yeah, I thought, well, hey, that's pretty cool. It's kind of an addictive little game as well. So I've played it a couple of times in the evenings, just myself since. And yeah, I'm thinking the first thing I'm gonna do is actually I might spin up a little tech head Minecraft server. So that could be a good little project. So I run that as a VM on there, expose that out, and then anyone who reads the blog or anyone in the virtualization community who plays Minecraft, they can jump on there and they can all run around together. I just thought that's a cool little project. So that's my first one I'll be doing with that, obviously, as well as running sort of domain controller, all that sort of stuff on it. So that's where I'm at the moment. Most of VMs I'll probably serve up off my Synology. I've got the 1810. six disc 1810. I've been running that for about a year now. That's awesome bit of kit for home labs. Yeah, so be running the VMs off there, and yeah, just be playing around with vSphere as well, checking out some of the new features that I haven't had the opportunity or time to do over the last year, 18 months. And so what about yourself? I had a question about your iMac there that you had fully loaded. How did you find you get on with sort of nesting the VMs there and what have you? Because obviously the 1 TB card, or sorry, SSD you get with the iMacs, especially the modern ones. I mean, they've got some crazy stupid fast throughput, haven't they, on read and write? There's sort of like 1.2 gigs a second read writes, over 100,000 IOPS, that type of thing. So I'd imagine that wouldn't be the bottleneck on any sort of nested environment on an iMac.
Yeah, the performance on that 1 TB PCIe flash is amazing. Unfortunately, I already ran out of space on that pretty quick. Between like I had all my family photos and everything else for the OS on there, and then for all these VMs, I ran out of space. So I bought two. Actually, I bought one Promise Pegasus 2 external disk system and connected it with Thunderbolt 2.
Nice.
Yeah, and it's RAID 5, I think it is, and it performed really well. So I had tons of space. It's a 8 TB, I think, 4 TB maybe. I can't remember. Yeah, it is 8. Sorry, an 8 TB external array, and so that's worked really well. I also have a Synology 15 something, which I love. But I filled it up with like videos, home movies for Plex. I use Plex, which is like your own kind of internal Netflix for your family. Yeah, I love that. So I filled that up with movies, all my DVDs. I've put on there, so you can watch them anywhere. You can watch them on an iPad driving in the car over cellular. You can watch them on any TV in the house, and so I love that. And also I use it for backups. So I kind of already ran out of space on the Synology, but
Actually, I think I'm wrong there. Actually, sorry, 1610. I don't think there is a 1610 Synology. I'm pretty sure. I think I've got the 1510. When you mentioned 1510 there, so I stand corrected on that one. I think I had the wrong model.
Speaking of hot new tech, Synology released a new Wi-Fi access point, which I bought because it has the same interface as the disk array for configuring all the Wi-Fi functionality, and it won some award for the interface as being having the best UI for home wireless devices. And so I bought it to check it out. It also has content filtering, which I thought, it's like built in and included. You don't have to pay anything extra or monthly or anything for it. So I bought that because I'd like to put that in here in the house. I haven't had time yet, but I plan to do a video on that.
Have you checked out the filtering yet? How effective is it? The reason being, as a dad now, our little one's only still very small, but I mean, in a couple of years' time, I'm going to start looking at internet filtering type devices.
Right? Yeah, you'll look at internet filtering, and you'll ask him to stop playing Minecraft. And you'll say, I wish I had never showed him that Minecraft thing.
Hey,
I'm
computers,
at that.
what are they? Yeah.
Right. No, actually, I haven't taken it out of the box yet. It's still in the box. So I'm also excited about. I think I'm excited about my Shock watch, Shock alarm watch that I bought.
That sounds ominous.
Yeah, it was a Kickstarter project, and the idea is you wear this watch that beeps and buzzes and tries to wake you up at whatever time you set it to, and if not, it shocks you with an electric shock on your arm.
You sure this is a good idea?
I'm not sure, actually. I don't think I want to find out what the shock feels like. Maybe it doesn't even work, like who knows? Maybe it's just people are so scared of it they just get up. So I'm hoping
your wife isn't going to want to be too close to you in the morning, so when she'll be on the other side of the bed,
That's right. Maybe I'll wake her up with a scream. Ah!
Asterisk electrocution.
Right. What other kind of cool tech have you seen lately?
Well, yeah, interesting you mentioned Kickstarter there. So, a really cool one that I saw on Kickstarter, and it's funny, I've sort of find myself trolling Kickstarter.com a lot more actually, because you see some real innovative technologies come through there. Some of them are a little bit suspect. You think, yeah, because there have been a few scams on there, where people were trying to sell a particular sort of concept or vision on something, and then technically, it wouldn't work. I've seen a couple of sort of videos on YouTube sort of warning you against particular sort of Kickstarter projects. based on that. But one that I saw recently that really stands out, there's one called Lemur, and that's on meetlema.com. We'll put a link in the show notes again. Yeah, I had a quick look at that, but that looked pretty cool. So what it is, it's like a small dongle device, probably a couple of inches in size. One end, it's got a USB port. I don't know if it's a USB 2 or USB 3. I'd imagine it's probably USB 3. But anyway, you plug any hard disk, USB-based hard disk into it. Now, at the other end, what it has is a Ethernet port. And you plug that Ethernet port into your router. Obviously, you've got to open up particular ports. But what this allows you to do, and apparently it's got good, very effective security on it as well. And as well as that, it's got apps, iOS and Android apps that you can download. But what it allows you to do is share out a USB-based hard disk onto the internet out. So you've got your own personal cloud just through the use of this very small little dongle, which I thought, that sounded pretty cool, for someone who just wants to share their files out. And apparently what it lets you do as well, using these Android apps or iOS apps, any photos you take instantly, you can set up the app to instantly upload via the cloud, to your USB hard disk. And this doesn't need to be an expensive hard disk by any means. This could be a sort of hard disk you pick up at Best Buy or, somewhere like that, like a 1 terabyte, even 500 gig, portable 2.5-inch hard disk that you have plugged into this thing. So yeah, that looked pretty cool. And it's pretty reasonable as well. I think it's about 70 US bucks. So I don't really have the requirement for that because I've got my Synology, but I'm kind of tempted just to play around with it. That looked pretty cool. But I definitely recommend, from a techie geek point of view, definitely check out Kickstarter, the technology section in there, because there's some pretty cool stuff. Another one I saw as well, one called Noki. So that's Knocki, was pretty cool. So what this is like a round device that you can mount to any surface. So for example, under a counter surface, for example, and what it does, you can program it. It's a Wi-Fi device. And you can program it to perform particular commands to other internet-connected devices if you tap the surface. So you can have different patterns of tap will do different things. So, for example, let's say you wanted to dim the lights or turn the TV on. You could just sit down in your chair. You've got your coffee table in front of you. Just do a particular tap, particular rhythm, that type of thing, and it would turn on the TV or a particular device. Or you could do another tap and it would dim the lights, assuming you're using a lighting system, with internet connectivity. So yeah, pretty cool. And I think you can hook it up to ITT, if that, then
Yeah.
yeah, the online one. Yeah, I always get
Right.
the acronym. Yeah, I always butcher it. But yeah, so that was the other really cool technology that I saw that looked pretty cool. I don't know what I'd use it for, but it was cool tech for the sake of cool tech's sake. But I'm sure it's got sort of a lot of real world applications out there.
Yeah, yeah, that's pretty awesome. I'm gonna have to look and kickstart some more. While you were talking, one of the cool things that I've thought of that I've been using lately that I've just loved is the new fourth generation Apple TV. And when I first got it, I was like, yeah, it's just the same as the old one. But what makes it so cool are all the different apps you can get for it. Just like your phone. So I've got the like the White Noise Pro thing, which like you can go to sleep to the sounds of the ocean, but it turns your TV into an alarm clock, and just with a swipe of your finger, you can change the colors left and right, or you can change the brightness up and down. So it has a clock up there, and I think the weather and date or something. So I'm a sucker for like these giant clocks on the wall. So now I can turn my TV into a giant clock. But the main thing was the Pluralsight app that's on there, so I can watch all the Pluralsight courses on my big screen TV, on the wall, which I love to multitask, so I can work on my laptop and kind of watch the Pluralsight course, at the same time.
So you can listen to yourself and to your calming voice to put yourself to sleep each night. Is that?
I can't stand to listen to myself. I don't want to watch my courses, but there's some amazing. I've been watching like some DevOps, like Amazon Web Services DevOps courses,
Yeah.
To learn more about that side of things. Some really cool, containers courses, OpenStack courses, all that stuff, are out there. So it's a great learning way to learn, just on your home TV. Even courses for kids. When I get my kids, they have free courses for kids, like Learn HTML for Kids, and other free kids courses. So it's kind of cool.
Oh, that sounds pretty cool. Yeah, one thing, another thing, sort of looping back on what we were talking about earlier. On my to-do list for this year, I want to teach myself Python. That's yeah, I've been meaning to do that for the last couple of years. I haven't done it, but I've got myself a couple of books now on that. Teach yourself Python in 12 hours, that type of stuff. So, and I've just subscribed to lynda.com as well. There's a couple of areas I want to upskill myself in as well. So, yeah. They're non-technical things. The things I want to upskill myself in is one is After Effects. There's an advanced course on there I want to do, and the other one is what's the other one? Adobe Premiere. At the moment, I do all my editing on Mac Final Cut, but I'm finding I'm using Windows more and more, so I want to use Adobe Premiere for that. So that's why I did that. So I don't know. Question for you: does Pluralsight do courses such as that, or is it just purely technical?
No, they're still doing. By the way, they're still doing the free vExpert 1 year. Free unlimited training for vExperts, and they have courses on I think all that stuff you just mentioned.
In which case, I am. I've just signed up for a month from Lynda.com today. In which case, yeah, I'll be jumping ship on that one then. And,
check it out.
My free vExpert pass on that. Oh, that was good to know. Actually, yeah, this was a worthwhile conversation.
Yeah,
save me $25 a month.
All right, that's right. That's right. All right. Well, this has been a great vChat, Simon.
Yeah, likewise. It's been great to catch up again.
Yeah. So for the audience out there, thanks for joining us, and look forward to more, vChats from the crew here.
Most definitely. Yeah, we were talking about ahead of the call here. We're going to try and get another one out either next week or the week after. We're going to try and be a lot more regular with it now, with the content. So, suggestions, feedback, always welcome. And yeah, it's been great chatting with you, David.
You too, Simon. Thanks a lot. Talk to you later.
Bye.